This is Sasha Palatnikov back here on the program. Sasha, how's it going?
Good, brother. Good to see you. Everything is good, and excited for the 21st.
Yeah, we're really excited for this fight. It seemed like you got a lot of notice for this one. When did you find out? I imagine you got a full camp.
Oh, yeah. When did this one get announced? I want to say maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe even longer. Yeah, I mean, after the last one, I was straight back in the gym and just continued training and was just hoping, something would come up quickly. Ramiz was kind of a name actually that was kind of on my mind that I thought would be a potential matchup. So it just seemed to work out that way. But like I said, coming in from the last fight, it was a weird one. Fighting at 8:30 in the morning here, it was something that I made assumptions going into that fight, and I didn't feel like my regular self. I felt laggy, as in we're talking in gaming terms. I felt like I was in a bit of a lag going into that fight. But all the credit to my opponent and his team. They came out with a great game plan to get the win. So I don't know. I just get this. I have this feeling that the UFC didn't really like that fight either, and it wasn't exactly what I usually bring. So I think they kind of wanted to get that one out and then get me back in there as soon as possible. And then that's kind of what they've done with Ramiz. I feel like he's coming off of a loss, and so am I. So I feel like this is going to be a big opportunity for either one of us to, stamp our name in the cage. So I think that's going to be an exciting one on the 21st.
So to kind of piggyback off your reference there, it's like you're playing like an online game with dial-up as opposed to high-speed internet, right? If we're going to use like an older reference there, you felt like you were kind of lagging a little bit, which makes sense. Yeah. So just had to throw that in there. Yeah, that's interesting. And so, I mean, is that something as well that your coaches kind of pointed out, or you personally felt like you didn't? I mean, obviously you lost, but I'm sure you're your biggest critic as well.
Yeah, I've obviously looked back on it, and it was just it was usually when I'm ready to go out and fight, I'm firing. I feel like neurally, physically, mentally, everything is firing. But I found out a week prior to the fight that I'd have to fight at 8:30. So being able to kind of shift that change, it just didn't give me enough time, and I feel like I can make all the excuse in the world, and it's not an excuse. It's just something how I was feeling, and waking up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm a creature of habit. So I wake up probably about 8 every day, 8:30, and then I drink my coffee, I use the bathroom, I go about my things, and then I'm off to practice at 11:30. So my body was just kind of not in sync, and I felt it. Sitting on the mats like minutes before walking out into the cage, I was yawning. And that's something that I never usually experience. I'm fired, I'm locked in, I'm ready to go. So going into that fight, it was, my coaches and our game plan was to kind of let Impa come to us and use a lot of energy, and then, kind of try to take over, in the second, third round. And, it was kind of going that way. He was using a lot of energy, but unfortunately, he did what he needed to do, and he caught that choke, and it was just an awkward angle. I've been doing jiu-jitsu a long time, and he just got it. It was just one of those. It's like when you get clipped and you get put to sleep. It was just in, and I kind of conceded with the checkmate. A lot of people are like, why didn't you go to sleep? And mentally, I was like, he got me. And it was a hard pill to swallow, because I knew I could bring so much more to that fight, and I was expecting a lot more from that fight. I thought he was going to come out and want to just kind of swing and put on a war, since he was coming down from 85. Maybe he had that confidence, but he comes from a camp that I used to train with a lot of those guys, so they know me well enough, and their game plan worked. Going into that fight, my camp was kind of on a rush from the debut, and I just felt I was a little bit overconfident in my abilities, and this time around, now I'm not leaving that to any chance. I'm covering all my bases, putting in the work everywhere, and there's no errors, there's no fine lines of error that I can make at this level. So now I've really just this camp has just been knuckled down and just focused and ready to just put on display that I know I can August 21st.
How much do you factor in his lack of activity in the cage over the last couple of years? Do you believe in that at all, or do you think that's not a non-factor in the fight?
I don't really look into that too much. If he was coming off of a very serious injury, this kind of stuff. But, nowadays it's kind of hard to gauge with COVID and people not being as active and stuff like that. And, I mean, he came in on his debut. I've watched his fight with Max
Max
Griffin.
Yeah, who's been on a
Yeah.
roll lately, to be honest, so.
Yeah, and like he's obviously had a lot of time since that fight to recover and get his mind right, get his body right. So, like I said, this is someone who's fighting for their job. I also I'm putting myself in that category as well. If I don't put out a good performance, then the UFC will happily get rid of me. So I know that they're excited because they know what I can do, especially on the debut. And Ramiz has got that pressure on him too to go out there and perform. So I think that's going to bring a lot of fire to the fight. I think it's going to bring a lot of intensity, and I'm expecting a fireworks show. Usually most of the fights that I go into, they turn out pretty exciting and fun, and I'm hoping the same. I'm also expecting kind of the same thing from Ramiz, from Impa, to come out there. They saw a route to victory, so I'm assuming that they're going to go out and try to put me on the ground, and I'm open and welcome to that, and excited for that because I'm ready for everything that he's going to bring.
Who've been some of the main training partners for this camp?
Oh man, another thing that's been amazing this camp, all of a sudden it seems just as that last fight ended, every single 170 was coming into the gym. So, you've got the likes of Michael Chiesa, Daniel Rodriguez, Aaron Jeffries, Sean Strickland, Chris Curtis, Nicholas Stolze, he's fighting next weekend. Dustin Stolfus, he was in as well. I mean, there's a big list. I mean, I might be even missing guys, but every single one of those guys are UFC level fighters, and there was just no rounds that you could just kind of take off. You're always just getting that work every single round, and the pressure's there. And this is something that I've been kind of chasing my whole career, was just trying to be around in a gym where I'm getting better. Earlier in my career, I was training with 45ers, 35ers, just because it was hard for me to find bigger guys. But since coming out to Vegas, you're always getting these good looks. I had a couple very tough Russians come into the gym. Albert Duraev, he's an ACA double champ. These are the kinds of people that you want to be challenging yourself in day in and day out, because when you get in the cage and you have that opponent in front of you, it's the same guy for the next 3 rounds if it goes that way. And, the rounds that I get out here are a lot harder, and the work that I'm getting is a lot tougher, but I wouldn't change it any other way. It's amazing, and that's why I'm here.
How do you see the fight playing out on August 21st?
Max Griffin kind of painted the perfect script on how to win that fight, and believe it or not, I believe I have I have pretty similar skill set to Max Payne in that regard. I look at footwork, and I like to flow and move. But I see Ramiz coming out and putting on a lot of pressure. So for me, I got to be able to kind of withstand that pressure and also be able to execute what I do. I think I genuinely think it's going to be a stand-up fight. I feel like he's going to have a hard time bringing it to the ground. And if most people know me, I'm not one person that's going to try to hold anyone to the ground. I want to go out there and just display everything that I can do. And I feel like it's going to be a striking fight. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. And, I'm not going to make a prediction on it per se, because the last one didn't go to fruition. But I can guarantee you that I'm going to go out there and just put everything on the line for this one.
We talked about it off air there. I know you own a Mortal Kombat arcade. How long have you had it, and do you enjoy it?
I've had that probably since March. I got it. I was living in my old place, and I'd ordered it. It was funny. I got it online, and the person who sold it to me was a UFC fan. So they're like, "Oh, that's cool. I know who you are." And they were emailing me. But, I got that in March, and I had it set up in my new spot in April. But yeah, it's awesome. It has all the 3 Mortal Kombat games I grew up playing, 1, 2, and 3. It's like a Supreme limited edition one. So it's pretty sick. Nice little piece that I added to the man cave. So.
Well, and there's a lot of arcade players at your gym, because I don't know whose house it was, but I remember, I think during the holidays, Roxanne and Serena and all them from your gym all did you guys had a night out, and you were all playing on the old arcades.
It's actually our coach is John Wood. He has the ultimate arcade lounge in his house.
That's awesome.
I want to say 6 or 7 arcade machines. And he's also super into arcades and gaming. So yeah, we went over there for 4th of July. So it was good. It was good times playing some different arcade games, some legendary ones that I hadn't seen since I was just a little kid. So it was cool, and that's kind of something that I would like to do. I have an office space, so I would like to deck it out with a couple arcades in time.
Speaking my language, I'm trying to do the same thing. I got a Street Fighter arcade one up in my office, and I have a cocktail arcade table, the one that you can just like sit down and play, and it's got like 400 games on that. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, the Street Fighter is definitely probably going to be the one I get next. Definitely a favorite of mine. And even Pac-Man, just some of the ultimate classics.
Dig Dug, Donkey Kong, those are all like because they're hard games. They're not easy to get. Like they're easy to play, but they're hard to like actually advance. Like I don't think kids these days know how good they have it compared to how hard some of the games were in our day, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
So that's cool. Like the whole retro arcade. I've been also like kind of getting into the old like N64 games, trying to like get sealed copies of games and get them graded.
Oh, cool.
I have actually, give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. Go grab it. Let's see it.
So I got the
NBA Courtside.
NBA Courtside with Kobe on the front. It's like perfectly sealed. I was able to get it, but it got only a grading of 6. Obviously, it's an older game from '98, but I'm a huge Kobe fan, and it says he was the first ever at his age to get on the cover. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I'm trying to find like little pieces like that I grew up around that I even want like a PlayStation 1 to put it like in a frame, like stuff like that. So just stuff that I grew up,
Same here.
And appreciating. I'm sure you can relate. So
absolutely. No, that's totally up my alley. And there's a good arcade bar in Las Vegas. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I want to say is it Ready Player One, I think is the name of it. But there's one, I forget exactly where it is, but it's so nice. Like I was blown away. They have N64s there, they have PlayStation, and they have all the arcades, and it's like an actual bar, but they have arcades everywhere. I can't remember the name of it, but next time I'm in Vegas, I'll take you out there.
I've been told about this place too. I haven't been yet, but someone mentioned it to me. There's like the super sick like retro arcade place.
So
like
nice.
Yeah, so definitely need to go check that out.
For sure. And we definitely need to check you out, man. UFC Fight Night, August 21st. Sasha, always a pleasure, man. I feel like we could do a whole podcast on retro gaming. We'll do that next time. But in the meantime, anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
For sure, yeah. Obviously everyone at the gym at Syndicate who have been helping me through this camp and continue to help me every day. And my new sponsor, City Trees. They're a local oil and vape company here in Vegas. Very high quality THC, and I really appreciate them supporting me for this camp. And just all my fans, everybody that's just giving me well wishes and tuning in and following the journey, and just keep following and let's get it going. August 21. It's going to be an exciting show, and hope everybody tunes in.